Hello, welcome to the 33rd episode of my podcast, Open Conversations. I'm your host, Young Bella, and today we're going to be talking about just a different slew of topics, um, ranging from NBA basketball, some NCAA, AAU talks, get into some hip hop stuff, and as well as just regular, just general topics that I wanted to talk about, and things of that nature. Um, and so we just added one more thing. Just pretty much is you know having some conversation about a couple things, and just share my knowledge and information, my analysis on things. So um, the first topic is going to talk about analyzing the top four teams in the NBA Eastern Conference. So we're currently got about 7 more games left in the NBA season for about every team. So we're closing out on the season, getting ready for the play-in and the playoffs. The best time of the year for NBA fans. And currently, right now, we got the Boston Celtics at number one at 59-16. Uh, they've been throughout the year the number one seed, dominated the East throughout the season, and they are the odds-on favorite going into the playoffs. Um, it's going to be interesting to see whether they can get over the hump. As last year they lost to Miami in the Eastern Conference. Um, they have the personnel, in my opinion, to get over the hump. It's a matter of whether or not they're going to gel and really execute. You know what I'm saying? That's still remain to see. Um, they said they've been playing well. They got probably the best on when it comes to talent. Probably the best starting five. Probably the best, probably like 1 to 7 uh, amount of players, like their rotation from like their 1 to 7, probably the best rotation in the league, in my opinion. But it's a matter of whether or not they're gonna, um, you know, execute and do what they need to do when it's playoff time and things get heated. So um, that's again still remain to see. Um, at number two, you got the Milwaukee Bucks at 47-28, um, hovering around that 2 to 3 spot throughout the season. Um, you got Dame and Giannis. Um, People, there's been kind of like some criticism whether the pairing works, and I think it works well. Um, I think it works well. They've played well throughout the season together, in my opinion. Um, you know, Still it's their first season together, so it's been growing pains throughout the year. I know for the both of them, but I think it's getting to that time. Both have playoff experience, so we're gonna see. We're gonna see. Hopefully, Dame and Giannis they can, get it to click and, playoffs, they can take their game to another level because that's what it's going to require for them to win a championship, from this team. I think they both got to step their games up. Middleton, Brooke Lopez, guys like that got to, play well as well, step their game up. And, I think they have a good formidable chance at winning it. You know what I'm saying? Then at number three, you got Cleveland Cavaliers at 46-30. Um, this has been pretty, they've made a good surge and by the second half of the year. Um, they've made a good surge. Dealt with a lot of injuries, both early on in the year, with multiple guys being in and out of the lineup, and they're kind of starting to gel. They've been healthy. Donovan Mitchell's had a great year, um, but do I think they have it together where they can really be a threat to championship? Nah, I think um, if they can win a playoff round, that'd be really good. That'd be really good. Um, I expect them to be competitive in the second round as well. I don't think it's gonna be, you know, just they get swept or something, or gentleman's sweep. But I expect them to be competitive. Don't necessarily expect them to get past the second round and get to like the Eastern Conference. But it would be, in my opinion, it'd be accomplishing if they could at least get one round. Um, that's looking like the Pacers at this point, and I think they can win. That looks like a series that they can win. Pacers have kind of slowed down in their momentum towards the end of the season, um, so I think that's a series they can definitely win. They have a formidable team in comparison, so I think they have a chance. And then at number four, you got Orlando Magic, young team. Paolo Banchero, their star guy, been playing well all year, all star this year. They just got, to me, a good, good group of young guys. No super egos. Just guys doing their job. They just got a crop of just good, young, solid players. Talking about Cole Anthony, um, Jalen Suggs, the Wagner brothers, uh, um, who else was on that team? They got some other guys. They got a bunch of young guys, and they gel well. Fultz, Markel Fultz, Gary Harris. Um, Gary's, you could kind of consider him a vet, but he's still a young, relatively young guy. They got a real young team. Um, right now, if the playoffs was were to be, they would be playing the Knicks. Now, I don't think that they'll beat the Knicks, um, but they'll compete. They'll compete, but I think the Knicks is a better team. Knicks will likely win that series, but this is great for the Magic this year. This is kind of like their coming out party. Didn't nobody expect them to be where they're at, so it's a good season, um, to be where they're at, making the playoffs, making having seeing the growth with players on their team. So I'm happy for Orlando Magic, man. This is good for them. So yeah, man, that's the analyzing top four teams in the NBA Western Conference. Um, so right now we got the Denver Nuggets at number one. They, throughout the year, they've been like between 1 to 3 in terms of their spots. in the playoffs. See, looking like they've kind of, well, still close, but in terms of who will win the number one seed, still very close. But the Denver Nuggets, the reigning NBA champions, um, they are looking like they get in there. They grew together, get into the playoffs. They have that playoff experience. Um, they're going to be a juggernaut. You know what I'm saying? A team to be reckoned with. Um, to me, right now, they are the favorite to win it all. Just with their personnel, and you know, there still really isn't an answer for Joker. He's gonna, the numbers is gonna go up for Joker in the playoffs. He's been a guy who hasn't, you know, been just great in the regular season. He's translated in the playoffs. So you expect Joker to, you know, up his game. Jamal Murray as well. Aaron Gordon's been playing good. MPJ. Um, they just got a group, KCP. They got a couple, just multiple guys that they can go to um, that are formidable players. And so Nuggets, team to be reckoned with. Then number two, you got the Timberwolves at 52 and 23. Um, the injury of Cat is going to be huge. It's huge. Um, they obviously have a good team without him, but in terms of being a serious contender, out in the West and stuff like that, without Cat, I don't think they're gonna get too far. At best win a series, but I don't think without Cat they're gonna be able to get that far. Obviously, you got Ant Edwards, um, superstar in the making, if not already. Been balling all year. So expect him to play well. I expect him to, if he really wants to, make that leap. This is his year to really make that leap where he has a dominating playoff run. Like he goes crazy in the playoffs and really shows he's trying to get to that, next level, so to speak. Um, as a superstar in the league, I think I really want to see him like really ball out and take over in the playoffs. Um, so yeah, you got Timberwolves. Then at number three, you got OKC, 52 and 23. Um, Shea's been leading that group the whole year, doing a good job. This is a young ball club like the Timberwolves, um, and they've been flourishing all year. With that young core of guys with Shea, Jalen Williams, Chet. Um, Chet. I you know saw him play at Gonzaga during his time, and it's just kind of like we'll see if this translates in the league. And thus far, it is. He's Chet Holmgren. I think is going to be a long time perennial All Star in the league for many years to come because he's really good. He's a lot better than I thought. He's a lot tougher than I thought. Um, obviously this is his first year. I mean, redshirt year, whatever, but his first full year playing. Um, he's gotten the understanding, the physicality game, and he's only gonna bulk up. All he has to do um, is just bulk up. And that's gonna happen with time. He's gonna bulk up, work on his body, um, continue, improving his skill set. And I think he's gonna be, you know, all time, a perennial, maybe, you know, 8-time, 10-time All-Star caliber kind of guy because I think he had that kind of potential. That's I really think he is. He can be that great. And so with the rest of the young guys that they got on their team, Lou Dort, Isaiah Joe, and all these guys, um, they really got a future ahead of them. Um, then you got at number 4 the LA Clippers at 47-28. Um, you know, they've managed to not have any serious injuries. Get this late in the season, they're all healthy, so there's no excuses. You can't be like, oh well, you know, Kawhi got hurt or PG got hurt. They are solid. James Harden is still there. I think Russ got injured. I don't know if he's back in the lineup or he's on his way back, but he should be good for the playoffs. Um, and so this is it. There's no excuses for the Clippers. I don't want to hear any excuses. They are all in. They've managed to be at the 4th seed, which is good. Um, they're looking at playing the Mavericks in the first round. Currently with the Mavericks at the 5th seed at 45-30. Um, but they should win that series. Um, not going to be easy because obviously Luka playing Luka and Kyrie. But they should win the series. They should be the team, obviously, to be a formidable team to win. But we will see about that. Um, you know, they got to step it up in the playoffs, and we will see what will happen. So that's the end of my analysis for the NBA top 4 teams in the conference. Uh, Next topic: NBA eras. So when you're talking about there's always a big talk about which era was better. This era had this era had this aspect, this aspect, this aspect, this aspect. And there's all should be taken into consideration. A lot of the '90s and '80s guys say the game is more physical. Um, they played more defense. You know, X, Y, and Z. Guys today say, well, the game's it's more talent, it's more skilled, more athletic. Taken into consideration. But for me, uh, I feel like there's been great NBA players from every era. Like some people like to discount guys who were playing in the '60s and the '50s. They were good. They were good. They could play the game of basketball. They could play. You know what I mean? Like I'm not going to take anything away from the Bill Russells and the Will Chamberlains. Obviously, yeah, the game wasn't as developed, but the league, the NBA wasn't as developed and you know as it is now. But those guys could play. Obviously, they set the foundation for where guys are at today. So if it wasn't for guys who played in that era, you wouldn't even have what we have today. So you gotta take that in consideration. Um, but also, these guys today, being byproducts of the guys who played in the '60s, '70s, '80s, '90s, 2000s, 10s. You know, this is a current product of that. And guys who played in the past should be proud of the guys who are playing today because they set that foundation. And for the guys today to play and to ball the way that they're balling. Um, what I will say though is, and this is just natural evolution. things evolve over time. And um, you talking about the way the game is played in the past versus today. I think the main difference with today's game is the size and the skill of the current guys today. The size and the skill set is a lot more advanced than it was in past times as a whole. Now, are you going to be able to select certain guys from certain eras who could come ball and be better than guys today? Yeah. But generally speaking, like as a whole, the game is better today than it was in the past. Obviously, going through the evolution, and then just guys are more skilled, guys are more refined in their game, and the size of the game is a lot bigger. You have guys like Nikola Jokic playing point guard. You have guys like Jason Tatum playing point guard. You have guys like LeBron playing point guard. You got guys like Luka Doncic, 6'7", 6'8", playing point guard. Shea Gill, 6'6", playing point guard. Um, list goes on and on. And then the athleticism of even the smaller point guards who are like 6'2", 6'3" is out the roof when you talk about guys like a Ja Morant, uh, um, D Rose in his prime, um, Russell Westbrooks, um, these are De'Aaron Fox, like these are the super athletes. You know what I'm saying? If you're not 6'7", 6'6", 6'8", playing the point, if 6'10", 6'11", KD plays point from time to time. Like you're a super athlete, and then if you're not a super athlete, then you're like a super great shooter, like a Trae Young, a Steph Curry. You know what I mean? Like this is what it takes to really be one of these uh, guys in the league that are, really getting a lot of minutes and really, balling and stuff. This is what it is, and that's not how it was like in the day, in the 80s. You only had Magic Johnson, 6'8", who was playing point guard. That was it. It wasn't like you had, like today, multiple guys who are 6'6" and above playing point. That was, it was only Magic um, who was doing that. And so and then when you're talking about just on a general starting five on an NBA team, everybody can shoot from 1 to 5. Everyone can shoot. Um, at least 4 to 5 guys who are on the floor can put the ball on the floor, who can dribble. Your stretch fours, can dribble the basketball, and then obviously your fives can dribble the basketball, like Nikola Jokic and stuff. So Joel Embiid, like these guys, Giannis, like these guys can dribble, bring it up the floor. So that element to me just makes it way different. And then the guys are way more skilled. Um, you can't guard a Steph Curry shot. Like you can, whatever physicality, defenses, however you want to call it, you can't do nothing with a guy like a Steph Curry, because as soon as he gets across half court, he's a threat. He can just shoot from the logo and make it. You can't defend that. Dame Lillard, LeBron does, like Trae Young, like you can't guard these shots. There's no defense for these shots. And if you want to have defense for these shots, that would mean that the defense has to come out past the perimeter, you know what I'm saying, and play defense, which is actually, again, spaces the floor, makes it to where guys can have easy drive, lanes to the cup. Either they're going to get to the cup or they're going to kick it out to an open shooter. They're going to knock it down. That's pretty much how the game is played. I mean, and that's why people get mad. Oh, there's no defense. It's because guys are so skilled. They're so skilled. They're so talented. They're so skilled that defense defenses really can't do nothing with the level of talent and skill these guys have. And it's just the truth. It's the absolute truth. When you talk about the 90s, 2000s, defenses weren't, everybody was playing half court, defenses were playing, amongst the, in uh, in the 3 point, not past the 3 point, but within the 3 point, most because guys wasn't shooting that far. They wasn't taking these deep threes as they are. They was shooting threes, straight from the line for the most part. You know what I mean? The Reggie Millers, the Ray Allens, these Larry Birds, like they were shooting at the line for the most part, at the 3 point. They wasn't going too far past the line. Maybe a couple times they would go a little bit past it. They shoot a couple of them past a little past the three, but not like how it is today. So defenses could just stay. They didn't have to go that far out of the perimeter, and the lanes were clogged up. You know what I'm saying? And so people don't acknowledge these things, or maybe they just don't see it, or whatever. I don't know. But that's to me what really separates today's game with the game of the past, because um, guys are super skilled, and then the size of the game is a lot bigger. Guys are more bigger. The big men can put the ball on the floor. Their skill set is a lot more advanced than the big men. That's really the real big thing, for real, is the big men of today are way more skilled than the big men of the past. Way more, way more skilled. And yeah, but every era was great. It was great players of all eras. There's guys that if you're a fan of the league at the NBA now, that played in the 90s that was nice that you just don't know. Like, guys don't know if you're really a hoop head, like you'll know. But like a guy like a Rod Strickland who played in the 90s, that's like doesn't get too much coverage, but he was super nice. You know what I'm saying? J.R. Riders, like it's a lot of it's the NBA has had a slew of talented players of all times. You know what I'm saying? Every era, especially the 80s, the 90s for sure, 2000s. Like there was a lot of talented guys in that era. So yeah. Men's NCAA and AAU basketball criticism. Yeah, I really wanted to talk about this topic because I feel like there's been a lot of criticism when it comes to especially men's NCAA basketball and the AAU circuit. Um, Considering, like, for myself, let me just kind of give my own personal experience. Like, I played AAU basketball growing up. I did that 2 years. I should have, with the knowledge I know now, you know, getting to where I wanted to ultimately go, which was to, at some point play in the NBA, which of course I haven't gotten the opportunity to do so. Um, Playing AAU is a major aspect of getting to where you want to go, because AAU provides the marketing, the exposure um, that you'll need to get to where you want to go. And the reality of it is you can say, well, high school basketball is real basketball and this, that, and the third. But truth of the matter is, AAU was the most competitive league for use. Like your 16 and under AAU team had like, depending on some teams, they might have had like 6 guys that's going, you know, to the league or D1, or you know what I'm saying? Like that was normal. That's not how it is on a high school team. You might have like one guy, or obviously you have a couple powerhouse high schools that are somewhat like AAU teams where you might have like 4, 5, 6 guys that go D1, or play high major D1, maybe go to the league. You have those couple of, but for the most part, AAU teams are where the talent, the most talented guys go and play. Um, Obviously, it's not quote unquote the most, X's and O's. When people talk about, oh, it's not real basketball, it's like there's not really much X's and O's. Guys are just kind of going out there and creating plays and making things happen, which is really the NBA game. That's how the NBA game really is. You see guys being able to make plays, create plays off the dribble, um, and I don't think that's bad basketball. That to me is good basketball. It's like I said, it's not so much of the X's and O's like the college, but it's the best talent. Mind you, the NCAA, where they getting their talent from? AAU. You can be a you can go to a rinky dink high school where nobody knows, it's in a small area, you know, and you can ball out, average 30 points, and no none of these high major D1 schools is gonna know about you. Like, I mean, maybe if maybe you have the right connects, or somebody magically hears about you, whatever the case may be. But the reality is, odds are people aren't gonna know about you. These high major D1 schools aren't gonna know about you. Um, but if you play AAU, which is where these high major coaches go to, I know for fact, not from personal experience, this is where the high major coaches, the high major colleges and stuff, they go to these AAU circuits, whether it's the Peach Jam, the Vegas, and EYBL. This is where they're gonna come get their players. You can go there, have like a great weekend at like EYBL, ball out, and next thing you know, you're a 5-star recruit just from a great weekend. And then a guy who nobody knew about goes, plays for one tournament, balls out. Now all the high major coaches are recruiting him. Versus if you're a guy who's not playing AAU, you just playing high school, and you just working on your game. This is fun, it's good. And again, this was kind of like how my pathway of things. I was, always working on my game, you know, play high school ball, didn't play AAU ball like that. People didn't know about me. The coaches, the high major coaches, and the recruits and all this other stuff. They didn't know who I was. And so this is what AAU allows a lot of guys to do. All the guys you see playing in the NBA and the pros, byproducts at AAU, all went to the AAU circuit consistently every year. They were on a team playing in the summer, all of them for the most part. You know what I'm saying? So I understand the value that AAU brings to guys and allows people to get that exposure, you know, and get them to the next level. You know what I'm saying? I wish I knew this growing up. You know what I'm saying? Just the whole exposure, the marketing, the politics, stuff like that, that people overlook. You understand this is really what allows for certain guys to get in certain positions and stuff like that. So I don't take the AAU game and the influence that it has for granted because I know what it can do for cats. John Wall said, recently, he unknown, nobody knew who he was, went to a tournament, balled out, number one player in the country after that. You know what I'm saying? He could have been doing that for his high school team. You know what I'm saying? But no one would have knew about it. It's at least these high major coaches, people would have known about it locally, the local residents and stuff like that, which is cool. But these high major D1 colleges and stuff like that, they wouldn't have known about it unless they went and played AAU. And then obviously NCAA, man, there's been a lot of criticism with the men's NCAA, especially with the fact that there's been some good, great women's college stars this year, like Juju Watkins, Kaylin Clark, Angel Reese, and many others. Um, and it's kind of like their stardom has kind of like, you know, overshadowed, a lot of the NCAA men's guys. Um, but the NCAA is a great league, a great time. It's been great historically. This has been a platform that has allowed for many. This is where again, many of your NBA stars and pros have come through the NCAA system. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, there's some aspects that could be better, and it has gotten better. You see the NIL when the guys are now being able to get paid. You know what I'm saying, for their play, and that's, to me, you gotta appreciate that the growth that the NCAA is having. Um, but it's been great. You know what I'm saying? It's been a great thing. It's allowed for the guys to get the exposure that they need and want to get to the next level. Um, just great for talent, great for school, just great for entertainment. I'm forever going to be a fan of the NCAA. So um, I just again just don't understand what the criticism is all about. I think it's just for the media. You know what I'm saying? Just wanting something to talk about. But I think the NCAA tournament is so historic. Just for the culture, and I love it. You know what I'm saying? And you know, by the grace of God, if I have a child and he wants to hoop, I would preferably want him to go to the NCAA route. Obviously, there's so many different routes in today's um, world and game of basketball, but I would prefer him to want to go and do that college experience because it's really a one-on-one experience that you're gonna get. Even if it's just for 1 year, it's such a great experience. I think um, they should allow guys to go out of high school, but um, the NCAA experience is dope, man. It's really dope. So just give my little take on uh, both NCAA and AAU, man. My top 6 to 10 rappers of all time. I've podcast video before this. I've made a video of my top five, and so I just wanted to continue on that. My top 6 to 10 rappers of all time, personally. And so first, this is again no order, but just putting my category of guys. So Dom Kennedy, from LA. um, you know, you know, independent. I love the independent route. Um, to me, the independents are where the best, quality of music is at. You know what I'm saying? Uh, these label artists, and no disrespect, I've none against label artists, but the quality of the music isn't necessarily as good as the independents. But Dom's a guy who, from West Side with Love too, and just all his mixtapes, I've been a fan of his style, his flow. He just one of the freshest rappers, just with his style of dress. I love, people are fresh, um, and Dom has always been that. To me, just his style, some of the stuff he says, his wordplay, like he's just one of the illest. You know what I'm saying? And there's really, what I'm saying, you obviously West Coast rappers, especially LA rap, they had their similarities, but Dom's style really um, stands out to me. I think he's kind of been kind of like the staple for guys like a Larry June, who's also one of my favorite rappers. And I know a lot of his sense of style. He gets a lot of his sense of style from, a guy like Dom Kennedy. Um, but yeah, Dom Kennedy. Then I gotta go um, Pusha T. Um, is one of the illest lyricists rappers of all time. He's always coming with dope metaphors and you know great albums and great features and um, but people don't he's had some great hooks too. So and Pusha can rap with the best of them. Just always been a fan of him since the Clips days and now. So yeah, Pusha T, then J. Cole. Um, just I've been a fan of J. Cole since day one, man. From mixtape days, uh, was it the warm up to till today, man. Just listen to J. Cole, especially being a hooper. All hoopers, can relate to a lot of what J. Cole's content. I remember 2011, 2010, 2011, just the mixtapes that he was dropping. And then his first album he dropped in 2011. It was just like, I felt like he was making literally music for me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this was J. Cole was literally making music for young Bella. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I felt at that time in my life. And to this day, you see his evolution as an artist. He's been great. He's still dope with his bars. Uh, so yeah, J. Cole. Then I gotta go Kanye, aka Ye. I gotta put Kanye in there. Um, you know, he's from what '04 or '02 when he kind of just he started putting out some features with Rockefeller. Then his debut was 2004 with College Dropout. Um, I will say Kanye's always been a guy who's had dope, I like to say statements. You know what I'm saying? He says dope statements in his raps, even if they don't rhyme, but he makes some dope statements. And then he has great bars from time to time. Um, I think Kanye's, his subject matter and stuff like that. Um, just as a personal fan, maybe people would disagree. I think his subject matter was a lot more was better young when he was first coming out. Um, it was more thought provoking. I think that's the difference between I think Kanye of past times and now. I think his music was a lot more thought provoking and intellectual, and he's kind of deterred from that in recent years like that. You know what I'm saying? He's not as thought provoking. He still makes great records, and he has some great bars. Um, those braggadocious bars, which can be cool. I ain't gonna lie, I do be liking the braggadocious Kanye. You know what I'm saying? From time to time. You know what I'm saying? When he's talking his talk. You know what I mean? I'm a fan of that. But I think he does that a little too much. You know what I'm saying? Considering his status and where he's at now. But I'm still always gonna be a big fan of Kanye um, and what he does uh, as a rapper, because Kanye can rap. You know what I'm saying? People, is he overcame the you know people was talking about he couldn't rap and all of that. You know, he's proven that. And then lastly, Currency, Spitter. Just always been a fan of Spitter. Just his work ethic, his ability to put a lot of music out and it be good and quality. It's like I'm such a fan of Currency and what he does, um, and just the different mixtapes, just all his mixtapes and collaborations with the different producers, his flow, the fly stuff he just be talking about. Always, always a fan of the boy Spitter, man. So yeah, that rounds out my top 6 to 10 rappers, my top 6 to 10 producers of all time. Um, Obviously, again, I'd had my top 5 in prior video, and this one doing 6 to 10. And to start off, there's no specific order. DJ Premier, legendary DJ Premier, sound of a lot of just New York hip hop, um, and produced so many great records, so many staple and just standout records for anybody he's ever produced records for. You always be like, oh, that DJ Primo, like, yeah, that's a premier joint. You know what I'm saying? So like, you know, always love Premier and his production. Like always, it's the number. It's the number. We want to hear hip hop production. That's like the number one sound of like, okay, this is hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Then I gotta go Harry Fraud. Um, La Musica, the Harry Fraud. Gotta go with my guy. Um, he just got the freshest production. I think personally, he had the freshest production. Even if it's like some sample shit from like some old school sample shit, he can make it sound like almost like modern day. Like he'll take like some 70s production and make it sound like something that came out in 2024. He'll add some drums and add little elements to the joint, and then obviously use the sample. And I'm just like marveled by his style of production. Like it's just dope to me. So Harry Fraud, then Pierre Bourne, one of my younger music producers, has his own sound. Always marvel. He's marveled with his sound. He got his own kind of like style, and I always admired it, especially where he, with his drums and his 808s and the different, little sounds he uses is always super dope. Um, he's doing a lot of just great production. There just be sometimes where it's like that put he'll produce joints for certain artists, and he just be like, yo, bump what the person's saying. It's like you just listen to the production. The production just makes the whole record. You know what I'm saying? And Pierre got a couple of those where it's like you just listen to the production, not even the word, the lyrics. So yeah, Pierre. Then I gotta go Madlib. He's his style. Madlib is very similar in some sense to like a Harry Fraud, where he's with his sampling, where he can just make a sample sound like up to date in a sense. And he got them production joints that he makes from scratch that are dope. One of the just his sampling is just one of the greatest samplers of all time. Um, yeah, Madlib, his collabs with Freddie Gibbs and Talib and etc. Like great, great collaborations. With many artists. Um, and then lastly, I got to go Pete Rock, the legendary Pete Rock. Um, the legendary Pete Rock. Um, you just got to give his credit. You know what I'm saying? That funk production and with the drums and the different sounds and the sampling. Like Pete Rock is just hip hop. That's a bar right there. But yeah, Pete Rock is just super dope to me. You know what I'm saying? He really embodies hip hop and the sounds and the culture and the traditions and all of that. So yeah, that ends out my list. Top 5 favorite rap albums. Um, First, starting out, no specific order, but first I'm starting with Reasonable Doubt by Jay Z, released in '96. His first debut album, just giving an intro of just his lifestyle, you know, prior to the hip hop, getting into hip hop, and where he was at that point in his life. Um, just really uncovering his lifestyle and with top tier bars, top tier, top tier bars. Like and this is just the greatness of art. Like when you look at Jay Z's catalog, honestly, when you just want to talk about bars, like art of like where Jay Z was really rapping his butt off, like rapping. And I think Jay Z would probably attest to this too. Like Reasonable Doubt was probably his best album in terms of rapping, like rapping skills. Like Jay Z's really like showcasing his rapping ability. Like Reasonable Doubt really is where I think Jay Z really showed it. That was his first album, and people slept on it. People didn't, people like, oh well, no, you know what I mean? And look what he became. You know what I'm saying? You just listen to his lyricism. What's the Cashmere Thoughts? Oh, it the flow that he was rhyming on that record. I don't know. It's not too many joints I've heard where you just floating and flowing on a beat. Like I mean, it was like when I listened to that record, it's like his lyrics and the production were just like woven together, where it's like one. It's like one stream of music because everything just flows together so seamlessly um, on that record, and just the different records he got, um, legendary. So Reasonable Doubt. Then I'm going Illmatic, Nas in '94. Um, legendary too. Just Nas. When you talking about, I mean, Nas. You talking just Nas to this day still super dope and just as a rapper. But same to me, in my personal opinion, like when it comes to Nas showcasing his rapping skill, like it's funny how it's like with artists, their first and Jay Z had actually said this before, but like it's usually artist's first album that's like when you look at their catalog is their best album. And same thing with Nas with Illmatic. Like he, in my personal opinion, like he hasn't rapped better on any project than he did on Illmatic. Like that was his best. Again, you're talking about just showcasing your rapping ability, just that rawness. And I think it's just the rawness because when you're a first time, when you putting your first body of work out there, you got all the rawness to you trying to get out of your situation that you're in, and then you super talented and skilled, and it's like, yo, I'm about to just put it all in it. And I think that's what it is with artists. You know what I'm saying? And rap artists especially. Um, I'm talking about guys like a Nas, where they just laid it out. You know what I mean? Bars going in. You know what I'm saying? Um, so yeah, Illmatic. Then I'm gonna go Ready to Die by Biggie's first album, um, a movie, a movie, a music movie. You know what I'm saying? That's how it is listening to these albums. It's like listening to a movie, in music. Um, just the bars Biggie was rapping, the punchlines, the production, everything, the sequencing, and just a one of one. I mean, I've it really is a timeless album, like timeless. Like I can listen to Ready to Die over and over, like and never get tired of it, over and over again. So yeah, Ready to Die. Then next I go Carter 2 by Lil Wayne. Came out in '05. Still to this day remember, like that was, the Carter one was great, but Carter 2 really was that one. And most people who was in that time know what I'm talking about. Carter 2 was that one, man. I'm talking about the intro, the mob, fireman, money on my mind. Like he had them like the first joints of that album were just super great. Um, and just the rapping, um, the maturity in Lil Wayne, you could see the maturity in his rapping ability there in that album was to me my favorite Lil Wayne album of all time. Um, and just my favorite body of work from Wayne. Um, to me was Carter. A lot of it due to nostalgic, but just like um, his rap bars. He really put niggas on when it came to the bars and just the way he was rhyming with his bars. You know what I'm saying? That's another thing to take into consideration. So yeah, Carter 2, and then lastly Graduation by Kanye West. Um, came out in '07. So many legendary songs on that album. Can't Tell Me Nothing. Uh, Flashing Lights. Um, Champion, everything like that whole album, top to bottom. We're talking about just greatness. You know what I mean? Just this is just the tierness. I mean, I don't know. I mean, that was to me, the epitome of Kanye's just creatively, like Kanye was just on another level at that time period, another level. In that time period, Kanye was really on, and just the production, the bars, the sequencing, the everything, um, was just super dope. So yeah, that rounds out my top five. Uh, Top five mixtapes of all time. First, starting with, again, no order. First, starting with Live Love ASAP. ASAP Rocky came out in, I want to say, 2011. I didn't first listen to it till about 2012, but that whole album really um, kind of set the mood board for that decade of the tens for me, and just especially how I dressed and style and everything. Like ASAP Rocky really, with that album or mixtape, my bad, kind of set the trend, not only musically but especially aesthetically with how people dressed and stuff like that with that album. Like he put so many people on, and so many new things, especially with designers and stuff like that, like that people was starting to rock with. It wasn't no one wearing Raf Simmons and Rick Owens, and nobody particularly in the black community knew about Raf Simmons and Rick Owens before ASAP Rocky, name dropped those designers in that mixtape and pesos. You know what I'm saying? And many other brands and stuff like that. But yeah, Live Love ASAP. Next, So Far Gone by Drake came out in 2009. That was just the soundtrack of that time period in my life. Um, I just when I first heard that mixtape, I never heard any music like it. It was just so unique and different, and it was just no format of music like that. And I know any and everybody could attest to that. In that time period when Drake had released it, it was just like, this is just different from everything that I've listened to. Just the style, how he was doing it, it was really unique, and what he was doing. And I was a super fan. Um, to this day, top to bottom, every record on there is just super dope. Um, and so, yeah, So Far Gone, legendary, legendary. He really was, you know, said that, rapping and singing thing. He really set precedent for that, and in the way that he did it, um, especially as a male artist. Um, then next, I gotta go No Ceilings by Lil Wayne, which came out like '09, 2010, one of those years. Um, that was the soundtrack for many of us at that time period, especially at my school, at the math. Everybody was mouthing off the no lyrics. I said no lyrics, No Ceilings lyrics. People knew the joint top to bottom. Me and my friends at the time, we could recite the whole No Ceilings um, joint. Uh, and so I gotta put um, that joint in there because Wayne was just rapping his butt off, and every line he said was a bar. Like nothing, no wasted words, no wasted anything. Everything made sense and rhymed really well. Um, so yeah, No Ceilings. Then I gotta go Cushion OJ. Um, that was another great mixtape. Wiz Khalifa. Another project that was very unique from a lot of other projects I heard prior to it. Um, I became a big fan, like of Wiz Khalifa. Just overnight, just listened to that album, on that mixtape. Great mixtape, great features, great vibes, great music, great, just great. Um, and really love that album. I mean, mixtape. Keep saying album, mixtape. And then lastly, Rich Forever by Rick Ross, which came out, I want to say 2012. Um, was it? It came out like the end of 2011, going into 2012 or something like that. But that was my joint at the time. The production was crazy. Ross was just barring up. Great features on that project. Drake was on there, French Montana, Pharrell, Timbaland on production. It was just a great project to me. And Ross was just barring up, and the production was just like great. The beats was just like super dope on that project, like super dope. So yeah, that rounds out my top five uh, mixtapes of all time. Is hip hop dead? That narrative always gets mouth drop or name drop all the time, and I just don't understand. I guess just people needing something to talk about, and just want to just discredit, devalue the artist, and just want to criticize. Oh, my time was better because we had this, and my time was that we had that. We started this, that whole nonsense. Not embracing what's going on now, and not really doing the research to even find the good in hip hop or anything like that. Most people who claim all this stuff, like they're just going off of what they're hearing on the radio and then what's on Instagram or on TikTok or on YouTube. That's the only thing that, or a club. That's where most people, all these people are getting these claims, hip hop is dead, and all that. That's where they get their music from. They're not really listening and doing the research and searching for, artists and giving artists a try. They're not doing none of that. They're just going off of what, the views and the likes and stuff like that are, and being like, okay, this is supposed to be what's popping. This is the good music. You know what I'm saying? And there's been great artists of, again, music artists of all time. Even, because since Nas kind of coined the phrase hip hop is dead, what, back in the early 2000s, and there's been great hip hop, rap, past, since then, like prior and after. You know what I'm saying? It's just, and there's been terrible hip hop prior and after. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, that's just gonna keep on going. There's always gonna be terrible hip hop. There's gonna be good hip hop. There's always gonna be, and this applies to every genre of music. And in a lot of ways, it's ultimately subjective. It's like, what do you prefer? That's a big thing. What's your personal preference? You know what I'm saying? Something I might like and think is dope, you might not like and think is dope. So you gotta also take that in consideration. Um, Dope artists every era. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta do the searching. You gotta do the research. You gotta listen. You gotta have an open ear. Uh, it's great artists, man. There's a lot of dope great artists of the current day and age that will be to come, and in the past, in past times. So hip hop is very alive. For anybody who out there thinks hip hop is dead, it's very alive. There's great artists. I can give you a number of great hip hoppers um, to listen to. Bodie James, Larry June, uh, Benny the Butcher, Westside Gunn, um, Action Bronson, Valet, um, Big Sean, you know, Travis Scott, etc. Like there's so many guys, man. Um, Tyler the Creator, like don't just really go do the research. Listen, you know what I'm saying? These platforms, we got these things right here, and you can, you know, search, find out the information that you want, man. There's great artists out there, and there's many more to come. So yeah. Criticism versus constructive criticism. So I think there should definitely be a distinguishing because there's definitely a difference between the two. Um, when we talk about criticism, when, when people say, "Oh, you hate," or you hating and stuff like that, that's criticism. That's just criticism. That's just you just talking negatively about something or someone with absolutely no context to improve. Like this is what a lot of people do, um, and it's rooted in envy and jealousy. But it's like, let's say you're an artist and you got a record, play a person a record, a beat or a record, full record, but they just like, yo, that joint whack, that joint just garbage. That's just criticism. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not given no kind of like way in which like just like way in which they can improve or get better or do this better or I like this, but you could do you know what I'm like. That's constructive where you're criticizing, but it's for how they can improve. That's constructive criticism. Like, oh, I like you know the drums to the joint, but the the sample could maybe choose another sample, or like you could maybe uh, um, speed up the pitch of the sample or slow it down. Like it'd be better that way. Like that's constructive criticism, or you know what I mean? Like ways where you're criticizing, but it's how maybe that artist could improve and get better. Criticism, you just, oh, it's whack, you're garbage, or I don't like that. Okay, where can I go from here? Nowhere. I mean, but you just you know what I mean. That's just criticism. That's hating, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? You're giving no room for this person to improve or do anything better. You just calling out what you think is wrong, seeing what is wrong, and it might be right. Sometimes, obviously, you have people who will criticize it wrong, but they're just trying to criticize you so you can feel bad about yourself. We've all experienced people who do this. It's usually because they're jealous and insecure and stuff like that. But you know, this is what you know. It's a difference. You know, you have to criticize, but offer ways for people to improve. Offer ways that they can get better. Um, you just telling people that what they're doing sucks and is whack, and you're giving no extra context improvement. There's no way that a person can get better or improve at anything, or get to where they want to get. You know what I'm saying? Especially if they're first starting to do something. They're just getting their feet wet. You know what I mean? They're just starting that business. You know what I'm saying? Of course, it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be, you know, at at its best state, or at a high state. There's going to be ways to improve, but oftentimes this is where people quit, because you have individuals, and I've experienced this firsthand, whether it's from relatives and said friends, where especially for me, when I started designing clothes and stuff like that, you know, people, I had people, give me compliments and make, some constructive criticism, but I've also had people just give the criticism, where they intentionally trying to, make me feel bad and, try to put me down and, discourage me, because, obviously they have their insecurities and they're not, they're trying to put that on me and make me feel bad about myself. And, fortunately for me, I was able to recognize it. But, just giving y'all my personal experience, like I've experienced it firsthand, where people just going to be like, oh, your joints, oh, that's whack. Or, you're wasting your time. And, but they're giving no kind of feedback on how I can prove what I can do, or what I'm doing, or where I'm trying to go. And I just suggest people to like be take that into consideration. Like, distinguish the two between whether someone's just criticizing me or versus somebody trying to constructively criticize me. Because with constructive criticism, it's going to be criticism that can be ways in which you can get better. You can improve. That type of criticism. That's constructive criticism. Criticism where they're just criticism. They're just trying to put you down, make you feel bad. Don't take that advice. Um, Try to distance yourself from people like that, um, and just don't take what they have to say serious at all. That's my suggestion. Um, and it's very important, because sometimes it's not even you. You know what I'm saying? Who might be what's holding, making you feel discouraged. It may be the people around you. Like I said, it could be relatives, could be said friends, suggesting that you just distance yourself and not have that person, uh, just as somebody that you have personal relations with in your life anymore, because they're not helping at all. People who are just criticizing. Um, so yeah, that is the difference. How tech companies suppress and devalue art slash artists. Um, One thing I think people don't may not recognize, um, is that all these social platforms and apps, and the Instagrams, the YouTubes, the TikToks, the Twitters, or now X, Facebooks, these are all tech companies, and they are essentially controlled by obviously the people who own and work these companies. So these tech companies have their own agenda, and obviously, since they control and own these platforms, they get to pick and choose essentially what content gets more, gets seen more than others. And a lot of it is, they want to put out the content that is mostly being, I guess, being demanded, or like what the search out, the search engine is, they're seeing most people type in, and a lot of it is just data. It is going off of data, just data and statistics. And that's how they're kind of formulating their, algorithms, through data and stats. And when you talk about art and artistics, type of stuff, which is something that isn't rooted in data and statistics, it's rooted in, you know, you know, you're talking about art, really spirituality and, mental, you know, connections with, the source, God, and all that type of stuff. It doesn't necessarily translate. You know what I'm saying? Um, for all my artists out there and creatives, where you're putting forth some that is dope and creative and stuff like that, and it's not necessarily getting the views and the attentions and the likes and stuff like that as other things. I know for myself, I can speak firsthand with that. But understanding that these, I am posting on another platform, these companies, and like I said, they have an agenda with content that they want to be seen more than others. Like a half naked girl will get 1 million likes on a post or something like that, or 1 million views, and then you put out some like a dope record or something. You know what I'm saying? That it's dope, but it doesn't get that same attention. You know what I mean, as just a half naked girl in a bikini. It's like just getting this amount of views. I just put something dope, you know what I'm saying, and something dope together. It's not getting the same level of attention, but um, that's mainly due to these companies suppressing your art. You know what I'm saying, and pretty much trying to say, well, this is what more people are more so want to see and look at. And I just say to all my artists out there and creative, like, create one because that's what you want to do and it's something that's true to you. And then create for your tribe, so to speak, like the people who will connect with you. Because reality is not everybody's going to connect or want to mess with whatever it is you do. And this applies to any and everything, but especially as an artist, like not everybody's going to want to relate to whatever your artistry is. And you're just going to have to accept that. And like I said, you just got to find people who do, whether it's 10 people who, connect with what you're doing. Like that's still some people, you know what I'm saying? And it's going to be meaningful, you know what I'm saying? Because it's genuine, you know what I'm saying? Those 10 people versus the 500,000 people who might like a naked girl's picture on Instagram. They're just doing it out of just pure lust and vanity. You know what I'm saying? It's not really like a real, genuine kind of connection type thing. Um, and ultimately, um, these platforms are going to, these tech companies are going to show this content to most people. Like the half naked girl posting a photo on Instagram. These companies are literally going to show, these things people understand, they're going to at least, whether people like it or not, that's one thing, but they're going to at least show the content to, what, 1 million people, 2 million people, right? And out of that 2 million people, 500,000 people like it or something like that, right? But your art, they're only showing your art to like 100 people, 50 to 100 people. So you have no chance of going viral or getting 100,000 likes on a post because they're not even showing it to that many people. So it's impossible. You know what I'm saying? And the way that they regulate is where, okay, if you want to get your art shown, now you got to pay for ads. You know what I'm saying? If you want to get your shit out there and people to know about, you got to pay for ads. And so that's how they get their money from the artists and the creators. You know what I'm saying? Having to make, us have to pay to get our stuff seen versus, the half naked picture of the girl. They just showing that to 2 million people off the rip. And then, whether people like it, and it's still going to be a high number of people who are going to like it. Whether it's out of the 2 million people, 60,000 people like it. You know what I'm saying? So I've been able to peep the game that the companies be running, you know what I'm saying, on these platforms. Um, and I just suggest, like for myself, I'm just all about creating my community, my tribe, the people who connect and relate to what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? That's really all for me. It's all about. I'm not trying to get everybody to jump on my bandwagon and jump on what I'm doing and stuff like that. Like, nah, I'm cool. I just want the people who genuinely connect and relate to what I'm doing to connect with what I'm doing. And if these tech companies um, decide to one day start to try to show my content, and I appreciate it. I'm not going to bash it. I appreciate it for sure. That's obviously more exposure. But I know it is. And, you know, these companies got deals with these other corporations, and there's certain artists that they do want to get. They're gonna show, you know, organically to millions of people because of the agenda that they have. Maybe it's a deal that they have with the artist. Um, I know how this shit, how the game that these dudes is running. So, um, you know what I'm saying? I don't complain about it, but I do recognize it, and I do want other artists to be able to peep game as well, and so they don't get too discouraged from their journey and their grind. Um, but understand that what I'm saying, these companies is suppressing your art. Don't think your art's great. Your art's dope. Your art's great. You know what I'm saying? It's not it's dope. You know what I'm saying? If you need confirmation, you know what I'm saying? Like your joints, it's dope. Um, but don't get discouraged. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, myself, I at times, get that feeling of discouragement. I'm speaking for myself. I get that, like, damn, like this joint was tight. I expect, you know what I'm saying? But I know how the game is played. So all my artists out there, keep creating, keep, doing what you're doing. Support yourself, man. Support yourself. All this people not supporting me, my friends not supporting me, my family don't support me. It's not their dream. It's not their aspiration. It's yours. You supposed to be the main one supporting. You supposed to be the main one who's, you know what I mean, investing what you're trying to do, your dream, your goal. Like it's not their job. They can hate, they can whatever, say gossip, all that. I experienced it firsthand, and I can speak from firsthand experience. Like at the end of the day, it's not their dream, it's not their aspiration, it's not their vision. So it's not their job to support it. If they want to, they can. They're more than welcome, and if they could, you know what I'm saying. But it's not their job. It's my job. You know what I'm saying. It's my vision. So people out there who complain about people not supporting their business, not supporting this, and not supporting that, understand. I want people to put this in perspective. If 15 of your family members and your friends not supporting your brand and your business, understand that's 15 to 20 people out of the 8 billion people in the world. There's 8 billion other people in the world. And I'm pretty sure that there's people who will support your brand and business. And I can speak, again, from personal experience. Relatives, said friends from points in time, whatever they didn't support or whatever, my clothing brand or what I'm doing, cool. I done bumped into many other people who have. When I go out and do my uh, pop-ups or whatever, like there's plenty of people out there who have. So don't get caught up in like because of the relationship you have with certain people and they're not supporting. Like, hey, it's your vision. Hey, they're gonna have to get off the train, man, because you got somewhere you trying to go. You got something you're trying to achieve. That maybe is the end of the fork on the road for y'all. Maybe later, maybe I don't know, but they're not really with whatever vision that you got going on. Um, can't be around them like that. You know what I'm saying? You gotta focus on what you're trying to do. You gotta support yourself, invest in yourself, so you can get where you gotta go, where you wanna go. I don't complain. I don't trip. That's fine. You don't want to support me. That's fine. Odds are, in all reality, I'm not supporting them either. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe they don't even have a business to even support or brand to support. So, at least I got something going on. So that's why I don't trip. Like people, I ain't losing nothing if you're not supporting me. Like I'm fine. I support me 110%. I invest in me 110%. So, and there's other people who do as well. So, um, don't get caught. I see the videos all the time. Man, they don't support my family. They don't support me, man. Da, da, da. I get it. It's like you would anticipate them to do it. It's not their dream. It's yours. Odds are they gave up on their aspirations. That's why they see your aspiration and they don't treat it like it's anything. Treat it like it's nothing. So you gotta understand that. And a lot of that comes with experience. I'm not saying to say I'm saying this like I just knew off firsthand. To some degree was in the same, kind of feeling saying like, damn, how come, you know, certain cats ain't that I would anticipate to, you know, support, what I'm doing and stuff like that to support, and they didn't. And it was like, damn. But I mean, now it's like, okay, that's fine. I'm already supporting myself. I'm good. I have people who do buy my stuff. I have people who do support my brand business. So I'm not tripping. So all y'all out there trying to do something, support yourself, support your own aspiration. And trust me, there will be people who will come along and support what you're doing and appreciate what you're doing, man. So support yourself. Don't wait on other people to support you. Don't wait on this and that. Your girlfriend didn't support you, so now you like, damn, you no, they're not even supposed to. It's your job, your vision, your brand, all of that. So support it. And if they do, one day down the line for it, great. If they don't, great as well. It's just so long as you support what you're trying to do in your life, you want, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, support yourself. Being broke slash broken. Um, to me, most people try to make being broke as a financial thing, which is understandable. That's like that's generally how people consider someone to be broke is their finances, um, what they have, type of thing. Um, and that's understandable. That's some people's context of broke or being broke. That's fine. That's your definition. That's your context. That's fine. My personal context of being broke is a mental state. It's a mind. It's a mental thing. It's a mental thing, if not even spiritual. And when that's broken, it's gonna manifest in your physical reality. Um, your financial. Having X amount of dollars in your account. That what people need to understand that there's ebbs and flows to that. That's something that's constantly changing. You know, it's constantly changing. So um, to feel like, okay, I have this amount of bank account today, I'm rich, and then let's say something emergency happens, you have to spend all your money. What, you gonna be broke now? You feel like, oh, I'm poor just because you have no money in your bank account no more? Like, what you gotta understand is you still have time. Time you can still make more money. That's why time is more valuable than money. People got like so many things that I can say when it comes to time that show just how time is more valuable than money. But understand that, like, if you have $0 in your account or even negative, you still have time to make more money. You're not just broke forever. Like, you're not. You still have time to live and to make more money. Being broke is a mental state when you just emotionally down, negative, uh, don't want to learn, don't want to grow, uh, closed off to new ideas, um, always trying to make a division between things and people. Uh, uh, just kind of on that type of way. That's broke. That's broken. You know what I'm saying? Trying to tear other people down, negatively talk bad about people, gossip. That's broke. That's when you're broken. You know what I'm saying? Always angry, trying to fight people, trying to hurt people. That's broke. That's when you're broke. You know what I'm saying? You can have millions of dollars in your bank. If you're doing these type of things, you're broke. You're broke. All right, you're broke. Okay. Um, and that to me is broke. Um, mental state is negative. Don't want to learn. It's gonna showcase. You know what I'm saying? In your physical reality. So um, being broke or broken is a mental and emotional state. It's not a financial state. It's totally different from two different things. You know what I'm saying? You can have a lot of money in the bank. You have no money in the bank. But so long as if your mental and your emotional is bad, you're broke. If your mental and your emotional is good, you're not broke. You're wealthy. You're rich. What do they say? Wealth is in the mind. You're, that's where wealth is. Wealth is in the mind. For anybody out there that wants to know where the wealth is in the world, it's all the business you see out there. Their wealth is in their mind, and it manifests in their physical reality. So make sure that your mental is straight, your spirit is straight, and your physical is straight, and you'll be healthy. So that concludes my 33rd episode. Appreciate y'all for listening and watching. Hope y'all learned some stuff from my from this video and can apply some things. And appreciate y'all. Till next time.